Hi everyone, I've got a new video for you today. I'm making this wedding card. It is a dish running away with the spoon. You might recognize that from the Nursery Cartridge from Cricut. I've been playing with a lot of my new cartridges this month and just having a blast trying to figure out different ways to use these shapes in my projects. So on this card you can see I turned the dish running away with the spoon into a wedding card, and I'm going to walk you through creating this. Now I did do it on my Gypsy, but you can do this with simply just the cartridge. I didn't do any fancy welding or anything to this, but it helps me to keep organized by putting everything on my Gypsy. The front of the card you can see says congratulations there. I just did that on the computer and cut that out and printed it out to cardstock. And then the inside says to a perfect pair. So thought it would be a nice easy wedding card, and let's go through the steps of making that on our Cricut. Okay, so let's get started. Like I said, I put mine on my Gypsy, but I didn't do any special welding. I just wanted to organize the shapes that I would use. And so on page 1 of my Gypsy, I have the shape from page 27. So if you're cutting that out at home, you will just cut out page 27. I've made the height about 3.18 inches, so the width automatically adjusts to 3.70, and that'll make it the right size to fit on your standard A2 card. And I've also, if you can see here next to it, created a shadow for that, and I just used the blackout key. That's also one of the creative feature keys. So you'll want to cut 2 of this and 1 of this. And let me just show you on mine what I'm going to do. I'm going to move the shadow here next to the silver, and I'm going to duplicate this one and cut it again down here. And if you'll look at my mat, you'll see that I'm going to cut just the spoon out of the silver, and I'm going to cut the shadow of the 2 here on my mat, and then I'm going to cut both again here in the white. So let's cut out our dish and spoon. While that's cutting out, I'm just going to mention, I know it's a little loud, but there are some other pieces that I'm going to be using, and I'll post those measurements, but we're going to cut out some black cardstock and pattern paper, one for the inside of the card and one for the front of the card. Okay, now that those pieces have cut out, we're also going to cut out, this shape is from, we're going to cut out the top hat and a bouquet of flowers, and it's from the Wedding Solutions cartridge. So if you look on the front row, on the top row, it's shape number 7, and then the top hat is right next to that is shape number 9 on the top row. So I've got one of those each. Here's the hat. I know it's really small. Let me zoom in. You can see the hat and the bouquet there. So I'm going to cut the hat at about 1 inch width, and the bouquet is also just a little shy of a half inch, or excuse me, just a little more than a ½ inch wide. So if you're going to do that manually on your machine, that's how you would set it. Now I will mention that on the hat I'm going to cut a second piece in red so that I can also do the little bow tie piece that I put on the hat there. So you can do that, or you can leave it off. If you know the wedding colors, you can also just change wherever I've put red on this bouquet and cut it in a different color. So you can give her pink flowers or yellow flowers, whatever you'd like. So let's go ahead and cut this. And I just will mention quickly that I mentioned leaving my speed on high, but the Gypsy actually does control the speed that your project is cut at, so don't worry about having to adjust the speed. You'll always just want to double check the pressure on the blade and the pressure on the dial. Okay, as you can see, I've started to assemble some of the pieces that I've cut out. I've cut the 2 dish ran away with the spoon pieces, one in silver for the spoon and one in white. I've cut one shadow. I've cut two of these hats, one in black, one in red just for the bow tie, and her little red bouquet, which you can switch out for any color. I've also printed out on my computer this onto cardstock, the two sayings, congratulations, and to a perfect pair, that I'm going to trim down. And to clean some of these shapes up, I'm going to be using my new Seagull toolkit. And if you haven't had a chance to see this fabulous toolkit, I do have it available on my website, so visit me at www.creativecutter.org and you can get information on getting that. I am selling it at a really discounted price right now, so if you want to get one of these, be sure and check that out. It comes with two spatulas and they do fit inside the kit. The old toolkits had a really cheap zipper that would eventually break. This one is magnetic closure, so it's fantastic. It does have all of the same tools you need for working with vinyl. It also comes with two replacement blades for this X-Acto knife that now comes in it. You get a great pair of tweezers, which are always handy when working with pieces on your Cricut. A really great bone folder instead of the other one that had indentations down the middle, so that's a really great thing. A pair of scissors, and also the dental pick looking tool that's really great for picking out little pieces, which I'm going to use today. And then two scrapers. I apologize, my second scraper's missing right now, but it is an angled scraper that helps you put vinyl onto the walls a little bit easier. And it does come in the leatherette version, so it matches those new Cricut Seagull bags that hold your expression. So what I'm going to do is just use this tool to poke out some of these pieces that I don't need from the plate. As you can see, there's quite a few. You want to be real careful not to rip the nose or the eyes from the plate. It has some very fine lines in there, and you just want to remove that carefully. And sometimes you can create a layering project where one didn't exist, which is basically what I'm doing here by cutting this out twice. There isn't a layering piece for this dish ran away with the spoon. You could cut that out just in the white and use it just like that. But because I want to change the male spoon for my little wedding card here, I cut him out twice. And so to create a layering project where you don't have one, basically all you do is just trim one piece to work with another, and you're going to simply glue over top. Now the zig pens that a lot of us have work the best for these tiny little Cricut pieces, and so I'm just going to put some zig. Goes on blue, dries clear. I love the ballpoint tip portion of this because I can get the glue just where I want it on these little teeny pieces. It works really great. And you want to make sure and get all those little pieces on this dish. She's got this little bridge of her nose and the little eyes that kind of come off on really thin pieces of paper. So you want to get glue on that, because the last thing you want to do is have someone rub that card or set it down and have all the tiny pieces come off because there was no glue behind them. Okay, so there's enough. I'm going to set that down. Just centering that. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with pen work, and you can see in here I added glitter as a last step, and we'll go through that in the end. But I'm going to add some chalk to the cheeks, some red. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Red pen to just line some lips for her. I'm going to add some eyes for him and some eyebrows. And I'm just going to dress him up to look a little bit more detailed. So let me grab my pen. And I've got a helper, my daughter Jasmine, today. She's going to do all the zooming in for me so that you can get a look at some of this. And basically I'm just going to follow the lines here for some of these pieces. If you just stick to the lines, the contour lines that were in the piece, you get a lot of help in knowing where to line.